Hello guys, in this video we're going to start creating the chairs. I will show you. We're going to be creating all these things and we're going to be working with different objects and we're going to parent all with to the main object. We're going to be working with the curve modifier and subdivision surface. I think that's all, maybe a mirror, but yeah, we're going to be working with this and then we're going to duplicate it. So let's start. We're going to start by creating a new file and it's going to be called chair. Okay, we're going to add a cube, and the thing here is we're going to use array with this cube and we're going to modify the shape of the cube with a curve modifier. So let me scale this cube a lot because we're using units here, metric units, and this is really big, so I'm going to scale this really a lot, like that, 0, 15, a really small cube. Okay, and we're going to generate new geometry with array 60. You will notice that these have internal faces that we are going to raise. Well, first we're going to add merge and first at last with 1 centimeter. That's fine. Now this cube has faces here and here. We're going to raise them. Okay, you see? Now we're going to be working with this so little object, so we have to change a few things here in the view. Start will be 1 centimeter. Blender is crashing right now, at least my Blender, so I'm going to be saving a lot of times just in case. Okay, we're going to modify all these cubes with a curve modifier. Of course, I have to add a curve first, this here, and I'm going to raise half of the object. We're going to be using this curve with free selection to cursor. Okay, I will do it again. I'm going to scale this a lot. Okay, now it's free. It's the way I like to work with these curves. Now, snaps with vertices. I'm just rotating this. Okay. We're working like this. I will show you why just in a second. And I hope you get the idea. I will rename this curve. This is a complex object, and this is indeed the how can I explain? This chair will be in front of the camera, so we have to use a lot of detail with this one. We're going to use in subdivision surface and a lot of details, a lot of loop cuts, just because we'll be in front of the camera. We need all that detail. Indeed, this will be a long tutorial. Okay. Now you see that the cubes are being modified by the curve, and that's exactly what we want. We have to subdivide the curve, and that's how we are going to create our chair. Right now I'm working to get the shape. Later I will be working to get the right size, and with every size. You have to be careful by modifying the curve, because this is half of the curve, okay? And you want this side of the chair to be really, well, as symmetrical. But anyway, we're going to erase half of this object in a minute, so maybe it's not so important. Anyways, okay, now I'm going to add another subdivision. We are going to be modifying this curve even more. Something we want to achieve is scale this in y-axis to 0 and move it. Scale them in x-axis. Okay. Of course, you can see that the cubes are not matching with the curve, but that's not a problem. We're going to be changing this and just in a second. But first, the really important um, thing here is to get the right shape with the curve. Okay, so we'll be working with this few more minutes. Okay. Okay, guys. Um, I'm doing a lot of change here, and you don't have to be following every single step. All you have to do is to get the shape, or if you want to create a chair with a different style, of course you can do it. This is just a way to do it. Now, there is something we're going to be doing, and we're working here with 10 centimeters, and we want to get from here to the end. We want 16 centimeters, and we have we have a lot, but okay, first what I'm gonna do, we're going to move this z-axis, and then we're going to work with that. we're still working with both sides symmetrical, mostly because it's easier to me work like that, to be working like that. For example, let me see something. From here to the top, okay, we're good with the size. We have, let me see, 30 centimeters. Okay. And you see that we have the pivot here is because that's the center of the both objects, if you remember. Okay. Okay. Now, from here to the end, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be the end of the chair right here. 50 centimeters should be the number. I don't know if you can see the wire. So that's that's basically why the grid. Maybe I could scale this from cursor in y-axis. And you can see that now it is matching better. Of course, it's looking really weird now, right here. And in x-axis, this should be from this line that I don't know if you can see. We're going to be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, which is now select the curve, and from cursor we're going to scale this in x-axis. Okay, let me see. I'm going to scale the cubes. Let me see. Scaling x-axis the cubes, but not from cursor. That's not going to work with us with this object. We're going to scale it in x-axis until you make it match those lines. Okay, this is the basic to start working our chair. As I told you, we are going to create backups of this, so I'm going to duplicate this and move it to another layer. This is number 11. Here you can still modify. By the way, we're going to use 40 here. Okay. We're going to scale this shift x-axis, and you will notice what happened. You can see that this is going thicker or thinner. We're going to scale this shift x-axis in to do it thicker, but not too much. Maybe like 1.1. And of course, you can still modify the curve if there is something you don't like the way it is looking like. But you will have to change the scale of the cubes in x-axis if you scale this. If you move these controllers. Well, I think that's all with this curve, but I'm not going to raise it just because of these numbers I did. And if I hide it, yes, it should be selected. Now we have a backup, and I'm going to start applying these modifiers. We have the curve, but we're not going to be using it, and it's not going to be a problem. So now I'm going to raise half of this, and okay, not yet. With these faces selected, we're going to extrude them in x-axis. All I'm checking is how much faces we're extruding, and this should be with this line just 10 centimeters more than the cubes with the curve. Okay, let me see. Okay. We're going to be erasing a lot of these objects, and I'm just thinking where I'm going to erase. For example, maybe I'm going to add a lab cut here and move it just like here with 10 centimeters. Let me see. The thing here, guys, is that if you look at the chair at the beginning, we're going to create, we're going to raise those faces and to get a nice shape here, just like this. So we have to raise some faces. We want this to be looking really nice. Okay, I know. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a lab cut here, here. And this is looking messy. So now I'm going to raise half of the object to make it easier to work with this. Okay, of course. We should have the center of the pivot point of the object right here. To do that, we have to modify the pivot point or the center of the object. And okay, we have to enable. Now, there it is. We add a lab cut here, and what we're going to do, we're going to erase those faces and these faces. Okay, just like that. Now we have to fill this, and we're going to do it with bridge. I have a shortcut for bridge, remember that. I'm going to add two lab cuts here. Scale this in Z-axis to 0. Okay, now we have to fill this again, and we're going to do it with bridge. Extrude this in Z-axis, scale to 0, and move it just to make it match with this guys right here. This is like an old style chair, and it's not traditional. So you will notice that we're using techniques that are like specific of this model, but that if you learn how to use it will be really useful. I don't know why clipping is doing me this. Let me check. Okay. Usually clipping don't allow you to move the vertex like that. Indeed, what I'm going to do, I'm going to scale all these vertex in x-axis to 0 and check if now it's working. Okay. Okay. It is a stick because of clipping. Okay, now I'm going to, we have to join some vertex here. Okay, we're going to join these faces. Bridge is going to be doing the job. Now erase those faces, and we should know how much edge loops we have here. Let me just delete the grease pencil I used. 2, 3, 5, 7, 8. Okay, we have 8, so we're going to add lap cuts here, and we are going to be adding 8. Okay, now it is matching, and you will see that this is not matching. So what we're going to do, we're going to move this vertex shift C axis until it touches this vertex. Let me just show you. Shift C axis. Remember, if you don't do that, you will get this result. Let me show you. And we don't want that. Okay, now we have to do it with this vertex. Maybe this view could be confusing, but all you have to do is to be sure that you are selecting the right vertex. Okay, and this should be the result, guys. Now, something I would like to do is make a curve with this, and I tried with with spin, but not useful. Okay, and maybe I'm going to use these guys first, and then the others. You know what this is? This is not working. Let me. Okay. deactivate the snap. Okay. Now we have to fill this again. We're going to be using bridge. I deselect these edges because with that you tell bridge how to create the fill. And I'm deselecting these ones because we don't need them. Okay, bridge fill. Okay, now this look like if it were matching, but we have this vertex here that is going anywhere. And maybe you have a Beamish boiled version. You could be creative and do something, but anyways, if you have Beamish, I think this is the right way to do it. And you can try by removing doubles, but you should be really exact moving the edge loops to remove doubles and get what you want. So all I'm gonna do is to merge them. Okay, now we're going to make this looking better with smooth shading, Control N to recalculate normals, and we're going to be using edge split just to make it look nice during the work. Yeah, you down the edge split angle. Anyways, we're not going to be using edge split with this modeling. I'm just doing it because I like to be sure how it's looking while I'm modeling. Maybe it's my thing, I know. Yeah, and you could be working with this just a little more because I think this could be looking even better. But indeed, I will be working with this and make a really nice curve. But yeah, guys, I will do that out of video because we have not enough time. But it's not hard. Okay, for now I'm going to leave it just like that, even when I don't like the way it is looking. Okay. Now we're going to add lap cuts here, move them in Z-axis, and let me just check something. Yeah, you know, I think that this is the way this should be looking like. Sorry, I just can't leave it the way it is. Okay. Now, yeah, we add these lab cuts, and it is because we are going to use the cursor here, and well, I was working with the spin, and you could try to make a fill here and add the lab cuts here. Well, what is, okay. If you want to do that, you have to raise these faces, and indeed you have to raise the, well, you could leave them, and you could add the edges here and move them. Did you get the idea? It was a really simple thing. I just filled it and add lab cuts, move them in Z-axis, and then from cursor, the cursor that I told you to be using, I scaled it from cursor in Z-axis, and yeah, you get this result. You can scale this as much as you want. If you want it like this, I may be going to be using, maybe I like it high, just like this. Anyway, you could change this later. The thing here, guys, is I will show you. Yeah, this is not matching, and we have to work with this now. So I will select these faces or vertex as you want, and I will move them maybe with normal, okay, in the normal x-axis. And make them match as much as you can. And this time I'm doing it really quickly as usual because of time. I'm not snapping them just as I did it with the other part. I will show you why just in a second. Okay. If you want, you can scale this. I'm not sure if I will leave it just the way it is. I'm not sure yet. The thing here, guys, is that I have this lot of lab cuts. I don't even know how much they are, and honestly, it's not important either. The thing here is that now we should make this part match with this one, and it's not hard, not something to worry about. All we have to do is add some lab cuts and move them with edge slide. This is just a thing of time and patience. So we are going to add these lab cuts, and indeed this is matching really good. And this one, oh look at this. I told you that I don't care how much I add the lap cuts, but honestly I had a really good number because they are matching, and I did it just without taking care. But yeah, lucky I am. Okay, I will tell you the number and you could be working with it, not with that number. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, if you add 9 you will get a really nice result. I highly recommend you to do it that way. Okay, now fill. And how we're gonna do it? Bridge. Okay, let me see how this is looking like. Hey, it's looking good. I will check if this could be looking even better, scaling the vertex from cursor. I would like to have just like this, but I don't know if it's possible without a lot of work. Let me see. Yeah, well, I want to get this effect, make it look it like that, but it's not possible without a lot of working. I will do it with a lot of work. I will do it, but I will do it out of video. If you want to do it, you could do it. Could do it now. Just stop the video and do it. Okay, now here we could be using inset. Let me see if this is working with the eye. Okay, maybe I have doubles or something. Let me just check. And if this time I don't get the effect I want. Okay, I don't. Everything is working good, but this vertex here is doing a mess. And interesting because is this. I want to know. Let me just check if I can do it. And if not, we're going to add some 2 lap cuts and that's all. Okay, I just have no idea what this is doing the way like that. Just add 2 lap cuts and I'm going to move them with edge slide. Too slow by hand. I'm going to use .7 75 and same number with the other, but in a negative. Okay, now I will try inset again. I like that tool. I don't know what is not working. Okay, there it is. If you don't know how to use inset like I just did, it's not that hard. All I did is press the shortcut and then what I did is I click and move the cursor. You have a difference if you move the cursor from left to right than the up to down. So you could try it, and it's a really good tool. Highly recommend you to try it and to know how to use it. Okay, we're getting a really nice shape here. We are not going to be adding the subdivision surface yet. What we're going to be doing, as I told you, we're going to be extruding this vertex until this distance and let me just do that by Okay, I have a problem here. It's not a big deal. The thing here is that this should be just like this, but I have this face here which is created because of the lab cut I did right here. So well, it's a problem, yeah. The thing here is that you should have the same square here than the square you have here. You can do it different, but well, that's not the effect I want to get this time. So we have to erase few things and change some faces and move. The thing here, I'm going to erase this, and now well, this is not matching. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to continue with what I'm doing, and I will change this. I hope you won't even notice when I change it. I'm going to do it during this video. Don't worry about that. Now select this. Maybe I'm going to, okay, no, it's fine. Select this. I'm going to extrude them in Z-axis. 1, 2, and 3. Maybe like that. Okay, let me check if everything is working. Okay, now before start doing this, I'm going to add lab cuts here. Okay, not here. Here not yet. Okay, we need some space here and here. You will see the Y in a minute, but yeah, I'm going to add the lab cuts and create some space here. It's not a big deal. I will show you later the why, the reason. Okay, that's enough space. I'm going to move with edge slide, and the thing is that we're going to be adding some detail just as this I will show you. I extrude this, and now I'm going to scale Shift C axis, and we're going to be doing this with almost, well, we're going to add, okay, we're going to do this with all these faces. Okay, so we have to start. You know what, I scaled this too much. And before adding these slab cuts, I have to do something. We are going to scale the tip. This, I'm going to scale this just like .4. Scale .4 the same. Okay. And yeah, now we're going to add 2 lab cuts. Okay. And add more lab cuts to create a difference. I told you that we're going to be adding a lot of these lab cuts during this creation. And something I just came to my mind, maybe that if we scale this, it's going to be looking even better. I will try it later and I will show you the result. Okay. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to extrude this, scale Shift C axis. Something, okay, something that could be make this looking better is use the same number with all the extrusions. So let me see if 1.2 is a good number. Extrude, scale, Shift C axis, 1.2. Okay, yeah, guys. You could use that number if you are following, of course, the numbers I'm using. Then, if you are not, all you have to do later is scale those objects when we are going to append to the scene, to the final result. Okay. Now this is looking really good, but yeah, we have to add the subdivision surface. I'm going to add a tail here that I like when I create mine. And move it just a little in Z-axis and extrude again. And again, I would scale this. Okay, like that. Yeah, well, this is just detail. You can change this if you want, and if you want, you can add even more detail. Now I'm just checking everything before adding the subdivision surface. And yeah, you know what, before adding subdivision surface, I really have to fix this. And well, I'm going to do it right now. Okay guys, now I have fixed the chair. I have modified some vertices and few other things, but now what we're gonna do is we're going to add some detail to this chair by extruding some faces. So you have to select the loop, and we're going to deselect the top faces. Okay, before extruding this, you can erase those faces because you're not gonna need them. You won't need them anymore. And these ones here, you can erase them. Okay. Okay, now we are going to okay, we have to raise these internal faces because we don't need them. And now we're going to extrude this. We're going to scale this in y-axis not too much, but yeah, it should be visible. Make sure that you have those vertex, you have no doubles. Okay, you may notice that I have changed few things. It's not big deal, but yeah, you can see that I changed even the base of our chair, and you have a backup if you don't want the result you're getting, so you can modify it whenever you want. Now we're going to delete our edge split, and we're going to start adding lap cuts, because yeah, we're going to start using the subsurf, and we will need those lap cuts. So let's start adding. As I told you, we're going to be adding a lot of these lap cuts, so be sure that you're not losing anything. You're losing nothing, I mean. Okay. You will notice that every time you add these lap cuts, you are keeping with the original shape, but in a softer way. Later we're going to try by scaling this edge loop and see how it looks like, but for now we're going to leave it just like it is. We we're not going to be using these faces here because they are not going to be visible, so we're going to raise them, and you will notice that if you raise those faces you won't need to add a lap cut. Okay, now we're going to add 2 lap cuts for each of these extrusions that we did here before. If you add two lap cuts here and you scale them in Z-axis, this is going to be modifying the shape we want to get. So that's another way to do it this time. This time we're going to add them one by one. You could be using numbers here and really get a really specific, let's say, detail, but consistent. But yeah, if you don't want to do it, that's fine too. If you were not using the mirror, adding lap cuts to to keep the shape will take you a lot of time, and this is one of the main reasons, because we're using mirror. Of course, mirror have a lot of good purposes, but this is one of the most useful. Don't worry about the resolution of this object, because there are not a lot of things in our scene that are like really high poly, and as I told you, this is going to be just in front of the camera. It's a really important one. If you're getting the computer slow, you can use simplify and use it 0 or 1 and activate it, and yeah, that's going to make every single object in the scene limit the subdivision surface. And if you have, well, this is for ambient occlusion subsurf sub scattering, I mean particles, but yeah, if you need it, you could use it. I have told you that with simplify, this is going to be changing even the render, so be careful that if you are rendering and things are not looking the way you want, maybe it could be simplified. You may notice that if I move the cursor up and down, it's not doing too much, but if I use it right and left, you have a different, or at least that's how it's working. Okay, yeah, well, this time I'm having the same result, but sometimes you will notice that you're trying to move the lock cut, and if you notice that it is like jumping and the movement is not too much, maybe you're moving the mouse in the wrong way, just as a tip. Okay. We should be adding 2 more lock cuts right here, and try to make squares here to have the same difference. Now I would like to move this in Z-axis, but first I'm just checking. Okay, we have to add lock cuts right here. So we're going to start. I'm going to de-enable just for a moment the subdivision surface. We're going to be using not just one chair, we're going to be using 2, and maybe this could become a problem if you know, this is so high resolution, but as I told you, you could be using simplify, and even you could use it at 0. Of course, that's going to depend on your computer. I think we're done with the edge loops, but as usual, we're going to check. For example, I think that if I add a lock cut here, this is going to be looking better. And let me check here. Yeah, it's looking better. Let me check here. Nah, that's not necessary. Okay. Whoa. Maybe we're going to leave it the way it is. And you will notice that we have like 2000 faces, and that's good enough. Okay, we are going to add the next part of the chair right now. We're going to create it with a curve. you will add a circle. And this is why we left some space between these both those two pieces. Okay, we're going to be modifying the circle. There are a few things that are really important. I will show you. For example, here with this and with this, the circle should be bigger than the chair, but not. Okay, for example, here should be bigger, here and here, but there are spaces just like this, which you can, and here, that you could be modifying the curve as much as you want. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to scale this curve. We're going to subdivide this curve later. Okay, we're going to scale this in x-axis. And for example, we're going to move this in y-axis because it's too much. But now we're going to scale it again in x-axis, and if you move these handles, controllers, okay, it's not enough. We're going to check. Yeah, we need more. Even if you change this just in 2 dimensions, will be easier to work with. Okay, for now this is looking good. So just in case, I would subdivide and see how this could be useful. Yeah, we scale this in x-axis, I mean, too much, so we're going to scale it again. We're going to be using, okay, we're going to become or convert this from curve to mesh curve, and we're going to be using subsurf, and you can see that here we have this value that we can modify the preview, and if we change this too much, you may notice the difference. Of course, this is not what we want, but maybe 4. This could be a nice value, or 6. Anyway, I will create a backup of this, and this is going to be mesh now. We need more space here, so we're going to move this vertex down. Not too much, but yeah, we need that space. And extrude this in Z-axis. Okay, we should be checking now with this, observe how this is looking like. We should be renaming this object, but we will do it later. Okay, with the resolution with 4, it's looking good. So before keep working with this or adding modifiers, we're going to add some detail to this. I will show you. We're going to add a locket here and we're going to add maybe 6. Yeah, 6 lap cuts. We're going to extrude this, scale it to Z-axis, and yeah, this is a problem. You cannot scale it too much. So we're going to select the inverse and scale them to Z-axis, but we're going to make this bigger. Maybe you can even create this bigger than this and this bigger than this. Let's see how this looks like. Okay. We're going to be using lap cuts here to keep the shape. I'm adding 2, and I have divided this in 3 parts, so that means that if I scale this in Z-axis 3 times, it is going to match perfectly. So to get a close number, we're going to use scale Z-axis 2.9, scale 2.8 maybe, and we're going to be using that number with all of this. in the original blend, the original file, I create something here that I would like to do with this one. Just we're going to do it in a second. Scale this 2.885 and yeah, with this you should keep the shape. Extrude this and scale it just a little, and it's pretty much the same as adding a dot cut. Okay, now I told you that we would like to create some detail here, and we will. What I'm gonna do now, I'm going to select these faces, extrude them and scale them. Just like this, okay? And I will move this in y-axis just a little, because we're going to be erasing these faces, but I don't want to erase this one. Okay, now slash, and yeah, you know what? I'm going to hide these faces here. In this point, I'm going to say, because I'm not completely sure if this is going to be working the way we want. Yeah, just let me check. Yeah, you know what? This could be a really good idea to do it before adding all those lap cuts. Now let me see if I can do it. If I just can't, I could do it, but it will take me too much time, and maybe I could do this just out of video, but you now have the idea how to do this. But I think I could do this. Let me extrude this, move shift Z axis, and with snaps. Maybe I'm just going to do one, and I can create the others out of video. Yeah, not a really good idea to add first at the beginning the lap cuts and then try to do this. You have to do that. We're going to extrude this, move it just in Z axis, and with snap select the vertex you want. Okay, we're going to, yeah, we will need a lap cut here to make this match. Okay. Extrude this and move it shift Z axis. Yeah, this is not going to be working with the other side. Repeat the step, but this time with this. Okay. I'm just extruding this and move them, grab it, shift Shift Z axis. Select these edges and extrude. Z axis. Use snap. And both sides should be working. Let me check. The middle is not working, but it doesn't matter. Now you have to grab, move it, Shift C axis, and now it's working. Okay, let's add the subdivision surface. We're going to use this smooth. We're getting something weird here. We must be checking. Let me check if he's in both sides. Okay, we have created just one side and we have 3 left, but you can even use mirror, and that's going to make it easier. And all you have to do now is just one more side. If you use mirror, I will show you how to use mirror right now with this object. Of course, it's not a big deal, but just in case. In this tag, the mirror should be the first, and then the subdivision surface. Yeah, it's not a big deal, you see. Now we have this ugly thing here, and I will check scaling this in Z-axis all to 0. Yeah, and then selecting these faces. Maybe we have to move this just a little. Let me see what happened. Maybe it is just too close. But even if the problem, if this is a problem, yet you can extrude this and scale it. There it is. Yeah, I would like to get this in a really, for example, From cursor, scale this to the axis. Scale this to the axis. Okay, just like that. You could change a few things here if you don't want this to looking like this. But yeah, we have just to. Of course, you know I'm missing this part, but I will do it out of video. We are not going to waste our time in this. To create just what we're missing, we're going to duplicate this, separate. I will apply mirror here. I will turn off subdivision surface just for a moment, and I will scale this Shift-C axis just a little. Okay, I'm scaling from cursor. That's not a good idea. We are not going to be using these edge loops here, so we'll erase them. All I'm doing here is just extruding and scale it and moving just in Z-axis. I will scale this in Z-axis from cursor. And something I realized while I was creating this video, I think that we could add something that the original scene don't have, and it's going to be looking really good. I will show you just in a second. This is how our chair is looking like. First, I'm going to use smooth here. And scale it in Z and Y axis. Maybe we're going to be using the same in here when texturing. So something really good is move this just like that to hide the seam. And yeah, I will add just one more, but let me first scale this just a little. Scale it in Z-axis just a little. And we're going to do pretty much the same here. We're going to scale this up to make it look like softer. Here we're going to scale this in Z-axis and move it, grab it. We are almost over with this. There is just one thing we're missing now, and it's really easy to achieve, but let me show you how to do it. We're going to add a cube. and scale it. I'm going to scale this Shift-C axis now. Apply rotation scale. Now I will add an array. Maybe just a few more just in case. Now I will apply this. Now I will scale this Shift X axis just a little. I will separate this object with array. Okay, we're going to apply this, join those objects, and now something I will do, I will add a subdivision surface, but you can choose between cat mode Clark or simple. I will use simple, and I will subdivide this one time just in edit mode, optimal display. And I don't know if we're going to be using 2 or 3. I will try first with 2. I move this to layer number 2. And we're going to, you know what, maybe with simple deform, this could be working. Let me try it. I was wondering if we could use it with curve modifier, but simple deform maybe could be working. Hey, this is looking good. Simple deform is working really nice, but we need more factor here. You can see that this is looking just like our chair in the final result. Yeah, definitely I would like to scale this in Z-axis just a little more. Yeah guys, well, you will need some tweaking here, change one or two things, but we are over with this. I have to tell you that we have finished all the modeling, these videos. I really hope you enjoy it, and in the next video we're going to do is set up in the scene. So see you guys in the next video.